Magandang kamalayan sa inyo lahat at nandito na naman po ang ating klase. Ang ating class, ang Kamalayan Learning Alternative Success System na atin ginagawa under our online Kamalayan Lifelong Learning Center. Ang Kamalayan Lifelong Learning Center ay isang eskwelahan na nilagay ko dito sa ating platforms sa internet at ito ay napapanood live via Facebook Live at tayo ay palagi tuwing anong araw ng Biyernes, Linggo at Martes ating sinasagawa itong ating klase. Itong klase natin na ito ay isang bagay na kailangan kong gawa, no? Sapagkat ito ang mga lessons na hindi nalalaman o natuturo o natututunan sa mga eskwelahan. Kaya dito ay ating pinag-uusapan ang mga bagay na importante na kailangan natin maintindihan, lalong-lalo na sa panahon ngayon ng itong klaseng nararanasan natin ng pandemya or pandemic worldwide. At dito nga sa ating nakikita ngayon ay talagang laganap, no, ang damage or ang ating mga na-experience na mga kwan dito. Nakikita nating mga nagkakasakit at namamatay. At of course, when all these things are now happening, ang tanong dyan is, ano ba ang kinabukasan natin? Meron ba tayong future? Meron ba tayong kinabukasan na makikita maganda? Of course, meron. Pero yan ay hindi natin makikita kaagad na kung saan ay bigla na lang sasabihin na hindi natin masasabi na mawawala yung virus. Tapos dito na natin makikita yung pagbabago, no? We have to accept the fact that this pandemic might stay for a long time. So what can happen is we can just live with it, no? Pero hindi dapat tayo natatakot. We can be living safely or we can really do something na magiging kwan tayo, no? Hindi tayo maapektuhan nito. Pero ang tanong dyan is ano ang nakikita natin kinabukasan? We are not creating a new world because the new world already has been created. The world has shifted its consciousness. The earth has shifted its consciousness to a higher level. Ang kine-create natin dito ngayon, hindi isang mundo, ngunit isang panibagong tao o more specific, isang panibagong pagkatao na kung saan ay dito natin nakikita ang pagbabago ng kamalayan from sabi nga itong 3D consciousness na experience natin in the past. Well, of course, we all started with this third dimension, no? Itong kinalalagay natin na third dimensional consciousness. But now we are shifting to 4D or four-dimensional, wherein of course nandiyan pa rin yung duality, separation, but then we are now able to experience oneness, harmony, love. At ito ay kailangan natin maintindihan kung paano natin ma-achieve ito. And until we are able now to really achieve this level, hindi natin malalagpasan itong mga nangyayaring suffering ngayon na nararanasan ng buong mundo, no? So this is something that I am now trying to explain here in our class because I need to really teach it in a form of parang a school as a subject. Kasi kung I will just talk about it in a very conversational manner and nobody will take this seriously. And so I have already been teaching this, speaking about what to change in us. And right now, since we're still in the subject in the topic which we started a few weeks ago, about these 20 qualities we need to be able to survive these pandemic times. And nasa pang 12 na tayo. We are now almost over one half of the thing that we had been talking about, no? The 20 qualities. So number 12 is about change. A Kamalayan learner always embraces change. Okay, always. The more, kailangan nyo maintindihan yung word na always. Ano yung ibig sabihin na always? Palagi. Hindi na ito pwedeng sabihin natin na paminsan-minsan o pakonti-konti or medyo madalas. Ngayon, palagi yan. Palagian na magbabago o ma-experience natin itong mga pagbabago. Kaya kailangan natin maintindihan ano ang dapat nating palitan sa ating buhay, sa ating pag-iisip. Alright, as I had always started in my explaining, in terms of explaining this 20 qualities, which is based from my book called Lessons I Never Learned in School, which I wrote almost 20 years ago. 2006, I released this. And I predicted in this book, it's written here, na sinabi ko nga dito na may mangyayaring pagtigil sa buhay natin. Hindi titigil it will not be the end of the world, but it will end a lot of the things that we had been doing for the past so many years. At hindi ko naman iniisip na eto na yun. Iniisip ko mga 10 years from now pa. Pero dumating na nga bigla. So I cannot anymore prolong or delay. Rather, this kind of teaching that we need now to learn. So, basahin ko ang sinulat ko dito. Kasi the 20 qualities we need to be able to survive these kinds of times. No? But I wrote this. I didn't actually see the pandemic. I thought it might be worse than the pandemic. I was more of thinking about, of course, climate change. But I was more into, of course, buti na lang hindi yun ang nangyari. Mas nakakahinga pa nga ako when this thing happened in terms of this coronavirus thing. No? Because all the while I was thinking of a nuclear war that might have happened. And good thing, hindi nga nangyari yun. So, we can manage this thing easier than if we had a nuclear war. But anyway, this is what I wrote in my book. Change is happening all the time. It is a matter of knowing when to let go of certain things and accepting the new as they come. All right. Medyo nag-iba tayo ng position, kasi I'm trying to really find out which is more of a better, I would say, scenario here. No? The world has drastically changed, but our beliefs, behaviors, and philosophies are still mired in a world that no longer exists. Kumbaga, ang mga paniniwala natin, yung mga pag-iisip natin, ay nung unang panahon pa. Matagal na. Kinagisnan na nga natin ito sa tagal ng panahon. Pero yung panahon na yun, hindi na nag-exist. It no longer exists. Kumbaga, nagbago na ang mundo. Pero ang mga paniniwala natin, ito pa rin. So, ang tanong dyan is, bakit? Ano ang problema natin? No? So, wala bang nagturo sa atin? Wala. Kaya nga ako gumawa nitong libro nito dahil nais kong ituro sa mga kababayan natin na may nangyaring pagbabago at kailangan palitan na natin ang ating pag-iisip, ang ating mga paniniwala. Marami sa mga paniniwala natin, 19 kopong-kopong pa. Kaya ito ay talagang kailangan natin maintindihan na ngayon na kung saan ay we have now to really be able to identify these beliefs. Marami ito. I actually talked about these beliefs in my other videos, no? So I don't have to repeat it now. I am more focusing on change. All right. I'd like to say hi first to some people who are already watching us today. I'd like to say hi to a filmmaker. Wow, galing ito. Si Surf Reyes. Hello, Surf. At si Danny Olesco and also Ramil Vela. All right, mga taga-production ito. Si Ramil Vela into video production. One of the best editors I worked with in the past. Okay, so to continue, it is hard to get rid of one's it is hard to get rid of one's long-time beliefs, habits, principles, values, attitudes, and personality traits. It will not be very easy, especially when one thinks that he has no other choice except what he had known through the years. But change is inevitable. And when one does not allow things to be altered, then there is going to be a big problem. This is exactly what I'm saying. Change is inevitable. It is something that we really have to do. Hindi na pwedeng sasabihin natin, tsaka na lang yan. Pagdating na lang pagtanda ko or sa pag-retire ko na lang, doon ako magbabago. Wala nang panahon. Eto na, dumating na ang time or yung panahon na yun na kung saan ay tumigil na nga lahat ang ginagawa natin. So this is already where we have to start what we need to change in us. Alright? So ang tanong dyan is, ano ba ang mga babaguhin natin? Life must conform with accepting change that will make it align with the universal laws that are in place. Okay, for the longest time, we never really learned about universal laws. Yes, we learned about the 10 Commandments, but the universal laws were not taught to us properly. It was only recently that people got to really become interested in learning about universal laws. When in around 2004 or 2006, nagkaroon na ng interest sa the law of attraction because when the movie and the book came out, the title is The Secret, doon na nila na-realize, mayroon palang such a thing as a universal law. The law of attraction. Okay. So never did people understand that kind of a law or a principle. So ito lang, lately lang yan naintindihan ng karamihan because of that success of the book and the film. And so, ano ba itong mga universal laws na ito? How is it different from the 10 Commandments? Well, the 10 Commandments were more of para bang yung mga pinagbabawal Bawal magnakaw, bawal magnakaw ng asawa. Di ba yun thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife? Puro bawal. Karamihan doon. Ang universal laws, ang tinuturo dito ay merong mga dapat tayong naintindihan. Like for example, the law of gravity. Yan, nasa ating mundo yan. And we know that whenever we would fall from a very high place, and when we fall because of gravity, masasaktan tayo or pwede pa natin ikamatay. And many of these universal laws are in place already in us, but we don't know how it works or how it would work in terms of our daily lives. So dito nga natin ina-explain sa ating Kamalayan, mga seminars ko, where I usually would teach about universal laws. Di ba? Sabi ko nga, ang Kamalayan natin is the one that creates our reality. What we have in our thoughts are the ones that come out in our world. Ang akala ng karamihan kasi, tsamba ang nangyayari sa buhay natin. Na merong malas, may swerte, merong masaya, may mahirap, may malungkot, may mahirap, may mayaman. And so yan ang mga nangyayaring nakikita natin na akala it is just pure luck or by chance that all these things happen. Hindi totoo yun. Actually, we create everything sa ating nangyayari sa mga nangyayari sa ating mundo. Kaya nga, kailangan natin maintindihan ngayon itong pagbabago, itong pangyayaring ito. Dahil kapag itong mga ginagawa pala natin sa ating reality, tayo pala ang may kinalaman dito eh. Tayo pala ang merong responsibilidad na kung ano yung klaseng mundo ang pwede natin i-create. Bakit hindi natin alam yan? Akala natin yung nangyayari sa atin, sumasama lang ang takbo ng mundo dahil masama na ang mga nangyayari dahil sa kasamaan ng tao. Well, in fact, kung binago pala natin ang pag-iisip na imbis na kasamaan ang umiiral sa ating kaisipan at puro kabutihan, edi maganda pala sana ang lalabas sa mundo natin. Which is what we are now going to create in this new world. As a matter of fact, sabi ko, we are not creating anymore the world because the world has created itself. At itong world na ito, itong earth na ito, itong mundo na ito, ay maganda. Nilinis na niya lahat ng pangit. Paano? Hindi ba dati the pollution was already too much? And so, ano nangyari? Marami nangyari sa atin ngayon na nag-lockdown. So, naging bihira na yung mga motor vehicles sa labas. So, yung nagpo-pollute ng ating hangin ay nabawasan. At pati yung ating karagatan ay naging nabawasan na ng polusyon, no? So, ang dami nangyaring pagbabago, gumanda. So, by itself, the world had already created a new earth. The thing here is, tayo ba makakasabay dun sa pagbabagong yun? That is exactly the challenge in us. And this is where we are now talking about these changes that we need to do. Because kung hindi natin gagawin ito pagbabago sa ating kaisipan, sa ating kamalayan, we might not be able to really create a better world. No? Nandiyan na siya. Maganda na eh. Pero kailangan natin pagtulong-tulungan to. Kailangan natin pagkaisahan na gawin talaga ang maganda na. Huwag na natin sirain. Natuto na tayo eh. Matagal na natin pinag-isipan ito. Akala nga natin wala na tayong magagawang pagbabago eh. Pero ito na eh, nagsimula na. So this is the time now we can create new human beings. Magre-reboot tayo. Nag-reboot na ang mundo, ang earth. Ang tao pa lang ang hindi pa nagre-reboot. That's why now I am telling all of you, we are now going to reboot all at the same time. Hi to M. Navarro. M, ano ba talaga ang first name mo? Bakit M ang nickname mo? M. Navarro Centeno. Happy Sunday, sabi niya. Anyway, so, tuloy-tuloy tayo sa ating pagbabasa ng aking libro nga. Saan na ba tayo? We have to be able now to understand this universal laws that we are now going to follow. Alright. Ano dyan? Ang law of attraction, law of manifestation. Kung ano yung mga nasa isip mo, yun ang ma-manifest mo. Ano pa? Law of ano pa ito? Sa akin to eh. Mamaya, maalala ko lahat ito. Law of harmony. We should be one with each other. We should love each other. law of right action. We should be able now to be concerned in terms of what we normally would do now. Before we try to do anything, let's try first to find out, is this going to be for the good or for the bad? And there's this law of pure desire that I always emphasize. Alright, so marami tayo dito. Law of manifestation, law of attraction, law of paradoxical intent. Mamaya na natin pag-usapan yan. But these are things that we now need to know, that we have universal laws that we need to understand. Okay. Alright. It is a process where things are revealed in a manner that only those who are aware will be able to adapt to. Kung hindi ka aware sa universal laws na ito, you will not be able to adapt to these changes that are going to happen. May iwan ka talaga ng panahon. Kasi isipin mo, helpless ka or tsamba lang ang buhay. Pero yun na nga, pag naintindihan mo how this how these universal laws and principles work, you know that you can really make it you can actually use it to your advantage. All right. Events happen as a result of one's thinking. Events happen as a result of one's thinking. We should be quick to acknowledge what is happening and the changes it brings. Immediately, we have to decide whether it will be for the better or for the worse. We need to be able to discern. Ito ba yung makakabuti sa atin o hindi? So, ito yung mga bagay-bagay na kailangan na nating ginagawang tama. So, ang tanong dyan is, makakasabay kayo? Makakasabay ba kayo o hindi? Kasi, ang importante kasi dito lang ginagawa natin ngayon ay kailangan natin unawain itong nangyayari sa ating mundo ngayon. Hindi ito aandar ng kusa, na kusaan ay akala natin ay lalabas na basta-basta yan sa mundo natin, ang mga bagay na inaasam natin, no? Na gusto natin makita yung mga kagandahan na, mga trabaho magaganda, yung mga nangyayari na tayo ay nagkakasayahan uli, na magkakasama uli sa labas, na wala nang suot-suot na maskara, ng face mask, at wala tayong takot na makihalubilo at makipag-beso-beso with everyone. So, yan ay kailangan natin gawin na tama, no? Okay. Sabi ko nga sa libro ko, the only thing that we can change is our way of thinking at present. At present. You cannot change the future, you cannot change the past. One has a choice whether to change it. Well, sabi ko nga, kung ayaw nyo magbago, wala tayong magagawa dyan. Pero kailangan na tayong magbago. Kailangan na tayong magkaroon ng mga bagay na makita na natin na makakaganda sa buhay natin. Kasi kung hindi natin babaguhin yung mga nasa kalooban natin, nasa kamalayan natin, nasa pag-iisip natin, yung mga bagay na kinagisnan na natin, yung mga noon pa na kung saan ay eto na nga, pangit na nga yung nangyari sa atin eh. Ayun pa bang gusto nyo ibalik? We should be quick to acknowledge what is happening and the changes it brings. So kung biglang, kasi lahat ng, okay, ganito lang yan. Sa pag-iisip natin, kung ano yung mga iniisip natin, actually nga, you don't even have to do anything yet. Isipin mo pa lang mangyayari na sa reality mo. Akala nung iba, ay wala pa naman akong ginagawa, bakit matatakot ako? The mere fact, pag iniisip mo na yan, may consequence na yan. Because you have already entertained it in your thoughts. Ano ibig sabihin may consequence yan? Kasi, remember, our thoughts, kapag pinagnilay-nilayan mo yan, if you dwell on your thoughts, there is that vibration that happens. Ano yung vibration yun? Remember, you have feelings, you have emotions. And through your feelings and emotions, nagva-vibrate into a frequency na kung saan lalabas sa buhay natin yung vibration na yan. Kung ano man yung vina-vibrate mo, maganda o pangit. At kung maganda yung vina-vibrate mo, dahil maganda yung iniisip mo, ang mangyayari dyan is you will create something outside you, a very positive thing, maganda, and you will attract. Kasi yun ang ibabalik sa'yo eh. Kasi kung ano yung nilabas mo, yun ang babalik sa'yo. Pero kung ang vibrate mo through your emotions, through your feelings, negative, you will attract negative situations as well to make you feel more negative or to experience more negative situations. That is a universal law. Yan ang ating pinag-uusapan. Why is it important to know that there are universal laws in place in our lives, in our world? Hello, before I continue, I'd like to say hi to some people. Ricky Davao, kamusta ka na? Ricky, Alexa Winter, and Jean Rachel Lee Malana is watching also. Okay, to continue. Baka dumidilim na ako Immediately, we have to decide whether it will be for the better or for the worse, sabi ko nga. Okay? The only thing that we can change is our way of thinking at present. One has a choice whether to change it, recognizing whether it is for the good. Okay, nabasa ko na pala yata. Ito. Recognizing whether it is for the good or bad depends on the awareness of the person to discern the consequences that will result from continuously dwelling on a particular thought. If he knows what will happen eventually, immediately he can decide to change or not to change the position or condition of his thoughts. All right. So, kapag alam mo na kung negative yung iniisip mo, stop it. Kasi alam mo, may kasunod na yan, may consequence yan eh. And somehow, if you are not able to stop it, definitely, ako nga, pag nanonood ako ng TV, I innocently would watch mga videos, may video sa YouTube or sa TV mismo, yung mga nakakatawa, yung mga funny videos, na kung saan ay dahil gusto ngang ipakita yung mga nakakatawang mga nangyayari sa mga tao, kadalasan doon ay at the expense of others, What I mean by at the expense of others? Kasi pag may napanood tayo na nadapa, o bumaligtad, or whatever, may naka sa bisikleta, tapos biglang nahulog sa bisikleta, natatawa tayo ganyan. So, in other words, we laugh at those instances. And somehow, eto yun ano yung pinagtawanan mo? Natawa ka dun sa nangyaring misfortune ng ibang tao. Kahit nasabihin mo TV lang yan pinapanood mo. The moment natawa ka, sabihin, para sinasabi, buti nga, tanga-tanga ka Alright, so marami tayong gano'n na innocent way of thinking yan, of viewing a certain video. Pero the mere fact na natawa ka, at para bang sinabi mo, buti nga, tatanga-tanga ka, ganyan. Watch out. Bakit? Ikaw na ang kasunod. At madalas, ganyan lang nangyayari sa akin. Kapag kunyari may nakita ko mga nadapa, at natawa nga ako, a few minutes later, bigla na lang ako tatapilok o matatapa. Tapos doon ko marirealize, oh no, pinagtawanan ko kasi kanina yung isang nasa TV. Doon ko na nakikita, I'm aware of what happens to me. Why? Because, yun na nga, nakita ko yung where it came from, where it started. Remember, we are the cause of everything. There is a cause and there is an effect. So, importante na intindihan natin kung ano yung iniisip natin dahil yan ang nagiging epekto sa labas. Tapos may balik yan sa'yo. So, ang tanong dyan is, kapag hindi mo inisip na ikaw ang may responsibility dyan, sisisihin mo yung ibang tao. When in fact, ikaw ang may kasalanan eh. Bakit nangyari sa'yo yan? Ikaw may kagagawan. Nagsimula sa'yo. Everything that happens to us, basically we started it with us, from us. Like for example, we do it to others. Kaya nga yung golden rule, do not do unto others what you don't want done unto you. That's very true. So, kailangan talagang huwag mong gagawin dahil may kapalit yun. Balik sa'yo yan. Actually, ang golden rule talaga doon is the positive one. Do unto others what you want done unto you. So, kung ano yung gusto mong mangyari sa'yo, yun ang gawin mo sa iba. Okay? Hi, Rina Janicio. Belated happy birthday. And Jenny Bright is watching. Have a great day. You look young, as always. Of course. Alam mo naman tayo. It's all in the mind. Yung buhok ko lang ayaw sumabay. Akala ko mapapabalik ko siya ng black uli. Ayaw pa. Pero malapit na. Baka by next year, black na uli yan. Na hindi tinitina. Alright, so, to continue. Malapit na tayo matapos. Alright, so, the only thing we can change is good or bad. Okay. So, alright, an assessment of one's life will determine what has to be changed. We really, kung ano gusto natin baguhin sa ating buhay, we have to assess our life. We have to be self-aware. We have to know who we are first. We have to know what has happened to us. We have to actually understand what had we created already in our life. Marami na tayo nagawa eh. Ang tanong dyan is, gusto ba natin itong mga nangyari na sa buhay natin o hindi? Pag sinabi mong puro kabwisita na nangyari, huwag mo isisiyan sa ibang tao. Ikaw ang nag-create yan. In this new world that we will now find ourselves living in, we are just going to bring ourselves to this new world. The world is beautiful. The world is really beautiful. Ang tayo lang, ang kaisipan lang natin ang magbibigay ng decision kung totoo ngang maganda o hindi. Kasi what we create in the outside is actually coming from what we have inside us. Hi, Maidel Hasagawa, Faustino. Kamusta na? Alright, to continue. Any thought that is not contributing to one's happiness should be changed. Again, any thought that is not contributing to one's happiness should be changed. Happiness. Look at the word happiness. Marami sa atin, ginagawa natin ng mga bagay-bagay dahil kailangan lang natin to survive. Marami sa atin may trabaho na maganda ang sweldo, hindi naman pala sila masaya. So, ang tanong dyan is, tutuloy ba nila yung trabaho nila? Oo, kumikita sila ng pera. Bakit mo tutuloy? Kung hindi ka masaya, paano naman? Paano ko kakain? So basically, ito ay isang bagay na umiiral sa ating mundo. That's why siguro, dito na tinulungan na nga tayo ng mundo na para pag nilay-nilay na natin itong nangyayari sa ating buhay, tinigil lahat ang trabaho. 80% I think of our jobs or the jobs worldwide stopped. And why did it stop? Maybe it's for something. So, ano yun? Ngayon is the time to assess for each one of us to find out, are we happy doing this thing? Or ito ay ginawa ko lang dahil nga wala akong ibang klaseng trabahong makita. Or ito yung mas magandang sweldo. Bakit ayaw mo magtrabaho sa isang trabaho na mas mababa ang sweldo na masaya ka naman? Kasi kung masaya ka dyan, chances are, mapopromote ka. At pag na-promote ka, definitely, tataas sa sweldo mo. Yung iba, gusto kagad mataas kagad ang sweldo. Sige, magdusa kayo. Choice nyo yun. Pero kung talagang gusto nyo yung, if you're after your own happiness, you will accept a lower paying job because you're happier. And you will just be able now to move up later on. Kasi nga, makikita nila, wow, galing mo masaya ka at marami kang mas nagagawa na kaysa sa iba. And that is how people get to notice how you actually work or your attitude towards your work. Pero pag sinabi, ay wala yan, mukhang puro sama ng loob yan walang may tutulong sa ating maganda yan. So, tapos ka na. So, ito na nga, an awareness of any thought that is not contributing to one's happiness should be changed. Every habit, programming, and belief should be assessed to find out which ones to retain and which ones to drop. So, ngayon, habang wala pa yung trabahong hinahanap natin, huwag na natin ibalik yung nakaraan. O kung maganda nga yung nangyari sa dati mo, masaya ka doon, I'm sure you can find another job that will make you feel the same way. Hindi ka mawawalan Kasi tayo naman nagke-create lahat niyan Hindi naman yan tsamba hindi naman niya kulang. Wala namang kulang sa mundo Everything that we need or we want, we can have it. And this is exactly what I do in Kamalayan. I actually ask people, ano ba talagang gusto mo? Ano magpapasaya sa'yo? Hindi ko tinatanong na magkano ba gusto mong perang kitain. Hindi yun I always ask them, anong gusto mong gawin na magpapasaya sa'yo? Anong gusto mong magkaroon na bagay hindi pera? Kasi sa akin ang pera, it's vague. Like right now in the States, they're just, I don't know, kung ano pa halaga ng pera sa kanila ngayon. Kasi I think they're already printing trillions of dollars na kung saan wala nang halaga. So, for that matter, marami kang pera, pero demonetized ka na. Or ang halaga napaka-konti na lang. So, ano mas gusto mong makreate? Maraming pera or kung ano yung gusto mo? Di ba mas maganda makuha mo yung gusto mo? Na kahit na wala kang pera. Ako nga, kadalasan, lahat ng mga nagustuhan kong gawin, lahat ng mga gusto kong mangyari sa buhay ko, nagawa ko, na hindi ko inisip na wala akong pera or kailangan ko ng malaking pera. Pero inisip ko lang na gusto kong mangyari ito, gusto kong magkaroon nito, gusto kong ma-experience ito, na kahit na sabi ko, mahal ito, pero sabi ko, gusto ko yan nagkaroon ng paraan because of my consciousness. So this is exactly what I'm telling you. Find out what will make you happy. Yan ang importante. Hindi pwedeng sasabihin mo na, well, we are supposed to suffer in this world. Doon kayo doon sa ibang paniniwalang ganun, na ang buhay ay suffering. Sa inyo, kung gusto nyong ganun na klaseng buhay na akala nyo sa langit kayo ay magkakaroon ng kaginhawaan, nasa sa inyo yun. Kadalasan nga, sabi nga nila, mukhang sa heaven ako, ando na kaligayahan ko. Ang tanong dyan is, kailan ka pa mapupunta sa langit pag namatay ka? So, yun ang tanong nga ng iba yan. Pag namatay ka na, doon ka palang makaka-experience ng kaligayahan. Anong klaseng buhay mo dito sa mundong ito? Paano ka naman dito? Paano ka naman dito sa ating kinalalagyan? Dito ka puro dusa. So you're in hell right now in this world. Yan bang gusto nyo? Kayo, kanya-kanya tayong paniniwala. Sa akin, we are creating heaven here on earth. And this new world that we are now going to have is a new heaven. This is real. This is a real happiness in this world that we are now going to experience. All right, so tuloy-tuloy tayo sa ating malapit na tayo matapos. An assessment of one's life will determine what has to be changed. Any thought that is not contributing to one's happiness should be changed. Every habit, programming, and belief should be assessed to find out which ones to retain and which one to drop. Things do not just happen in our lives. We attract every single circumstance that affects us according to our consciousness. According to our consciousness brought about by our thoughts. All right, now is the time to change everything that has to be changed in us. The transformation has to happen. The transformation has to happen first in us. Okay, so ito ay isang talagang importanteng episode na kailangan natin pag-nilay-nilayan. No? Kasi ito na yung talagang makikita natin ang tunay na pagbabago na mangyayari sa buhay natin. So, ang tanong dyan is, gusto ba ninyo magbago para gumanda ang buhay nyo? Or hahayaan na lang ninyo na itong ating dinadaanang pagdurusa ay tumagal na ng ilang pang taon. Kasi overnight we can change everything. Just change your consciousness. Ang kamalayan mo. Ako, masaya ako. I'm sorry. Alam ko, yung iba talagang nakikiramay rin ako sa mga nangyayari sa ibang kasama natin. Pero kanya-kanyang buhay yan. I actually have this kind of belief that I cannot make you happy, Ikaw ang makakagawa lang ng mga bagay na magpapasaya sa iyo. So I'm just trying to inspire you to know exactly what would make you happy. Katulad ko, I know what I could do to make me happy. So, ginagawa ko yung mga bagay na yun. So with that, I'd like to say maraming salamat sa inyong pagsama sa akin sa araw na ito. Bagamat linggo, siyempre, kasi nga, pag linggo, we have actually our regular class, no? So, I'd like to say hi first to some people who have been watching kanina pa. I'd like to say hi to Tato Malay, my pinsan, Serwin Subia, and Tan Rahay, and to Dowie Dineros, and Jeff Espartero. Alright, so maraming salamat sa inyo lahat. Mark Angelo Malay. Okay, so with that, I'd like to say thank you for watching and for being with us in this class of ours in our Kamalayan Lifelong Learning Center. Kung saan tayo ay may tinatawag na klase or class. So, till our next class, which is on Tuesday, ako si Tato Malay na nagsasabing isang magandang kamalayan sa inyo lahat.